Hello everyone, and welcome to another lesson about controllers, navigation controllers. Last time we talked about the navigation controller, and we used that for kind of hierarchy navigation. We talked about the modal views, and now we're going to cover the tab bar controller. And this is in the unit 3 in the fundamental, Swift fundamental, lesson 3.7. So the navigation controller works well if you have a hierarchy. You know, you go from top to the next level to the next level. With a tab view controller, it's more like for the flat navigations. As you remember in the human interface guide, there's several type of navigation. One of them is hierarchy. One of them is flat. One of them was content navigation based on the content. So we're going to cover the flat navigation here. So it's going to be a very short lesson. It's not complicated because we've done some of the stuff we already done in the previous lecture. So we'll just go ahead and cover it quickly. So how is it different than navigation controller? At a tab controller, usually you have tabs at the bottom. Each tab is a tab bar item, and it has usually an image, and it has a text, a label associated with it. I'm going to show you how we add a tab bar controller. Here is this example. We have, once we embed something in the tab bar controller, then you will have an additional controller, and that would be your tab bar controller. You can add more to it, not just simple screens. So we will have multiple screens, and then we can associate each tab bar item with item. We can customize it with a particular image and a title. There are some that are already set for us. We can select them from Xcode. There's something called SF symbols that you can download those great images, vector images that you can use in your app for free. And then I'm going to show you how to do that. You can customize it. I talked about that. We'll talk about something called a badge, where you can bring and highlight to a particular tab by putting a badge on it, like a new message came, or a new notification came. So you can use these badges. You can remove these badges by making them nil. So you say tab bar item dot badge value equal to nil, so that would remove it. You could have multiple screens, but you gotta be careful. We don't recommend that you have more than 4 or 5 because it's gonna clutter your screen. If you have more than this, usually you will get a ... more. Here it is. I can't see it here, but you will have like more. Let's see if that shows it. No. Yeah, so if you click on more, you see that? More. What happened, it will give you more tabs to view, but that is really, I don't recommend that because it's just going to make your application messy. All right. So that's what we're going to cover today. So I'm going to jump to Xcode quickly. We're going to create project, and then we're going to do the same thing that is in this book. All right. So we're waiting for Xcode to open up. So I'm going to create new project, new Xcode project, and I'm going to call that, it's a single app for iOS, and then call that tab bar demo. Okay, and you click on next, and then you click on next. You create. So out of the box, what you get in the storyboard, you will get a view controller. So this is my view controller. Let me just hide some of this stuff so we have more room to work with. So out of the box, you have a view controller. Now I'm going to change the background of this view controller. So because we're going to have multiple screens, I'm going to change the background of these screens, different colors. So you can see when you switch between each one of them, you can see the difference. So now if I click on the property for the view, and then I can change the background, and I'm going to change that to red. So this view controller, the first view controller would have a red background in the view. Now next, what I'm going to do you see this button here? It says embed in. You could do that in here, and I think you could do it also in editor, embed in, same way here. So either you can do it in editor, embed in, or for simplicity, you select the view controller and then embed in. Last time we did embed in navigation controller, but here you can do the embed in tab bar controller. So if I click on this, notice that I have a new controller that is added to the screen, to the storyboard, and that is my tab bar controller. And in this tab bar controller, it controls any view controllers that you have here associated with this tab bar controller. Right now, I have only one tab bar controller. So that's why you see this item below here, one tab bar controller. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to add another view controller. Let me make that this smaller. I'm going to add another view controller here, and then I'm going to link this new view controller to the tab bar controller. So we will have two view controllers, two tabs. So how do we do that? First, we need to add the view controller. So we go in here, and then at the end you have, toward the end, you have a view controller. So now I have two view controllers, but you can see they are not related. They are not related yet with the tab. This tab bar controller is not related to this view, or this view controller is not related to the tab bar controller. I'm going to change this one to what? I'm going to change this to green, background green. So I click on that view controller. I go to the property inspector. I change that to green background. So now I have two view controllers, and I have a tab bar controller that has a relationship with this view controller. So how do I make this also part of this tab bar controller? What you do, you can either control and drag or right click and drag from the tab bar controller to the second view controller. Now, a menu is going to appear, and this menu, before we use like menu show, show detail, we used show and present modeling, but there's one called relationship segue. This is the one that you need to select when you have a tab bar controller. So I will select relationship segue and view controller. Now, this tab bar controller has two tabs at the bottom. And then when you click on the first one, it will show this. When you click on this one, it will show this. All right? It's as easy as that. That's all you have to do. Now, if we play it, you will see, let's stop it and then select the 12 Pro. And then you'll notice that you have tab bar at the bottom. While we're waiting. See? And it says item 1 and item 2. The next part, I'm going to show you how we customize these. But you could actually, if we turn it around, you still have those tab bar at the bottom, this tab bar at the bottom. You can switch between these screens by simply clicking on the proper tab. You can go back, turn the way it was, and then you're okay. Is that clear? Now, that's simple. That's pretty easy. Now, how do we customize these tab bar items? Each view controller, you notice this one has, let me zoom in a little bit. You'll notice that you have a tab bar item here. Now you can set the property of this tab bar item by selecting the property inspector. Now you can do things like this. You can say, for example, you want to select the type. So for example, if I already have types available for me that I can select from. So for example, if I want to say this is my favorite, you'll notice that you have the icon for that tab bar item, the image, and the title associated with it already displayed for you, because this is a default system tab bar item. All right. Now, if you look at here, you will see when you run it, you will see that this tab bar item will appear also on the simulator. You can do the same thing with the other one. So if you can go in here and again, you select the tab bar item, you can select something different. You can select the system one. For example, we had favorite. You can say search, for example. And now it will give you the search. Now you can run this and then see what happens. See, now you have favorite, and then you have search. And notice when you select each tab, the image could change based on what you select. So when I select this, you'll see now this is the image selected, and this is the icon color or the image color, the tint color of that selected image. And same thing with this one. All right. So that is if you want to select something already available within the system. All right. What if you want to do your own things? Do you want to customize these images or these tab bar items? You want something different. Now, in your book, it talks about SF symbols. I think that's toward the end. What is SF symbol is, it's a great app. And this is by Apple. You can download it, and it has tons of vector images that can use in your application for free. Sunset, sunrise, night view, day view, everything that you can think about, they're available for you here. And then you can simply use it in your application for free. In the past, graphic designers had to create these, and they have to be specific, they have to follow specific guidelines. Each item, like each one of those items, like tab bar items, they have specific guidelines based on the human interface guide. So you don't need to worry about all of that. It's already created for you, and you can use it for free. All right. So SF symbols. All right. I'm not going to show you for the sake of the time, but take a look at these SF symbols. All right. In addition to these system favorite, I can select customs. Look what I can do now. When I select images, you have tons of images as well here. This comes from the SF symbols. So if I want to anything like, for example, if I want to say upload, for example, it is an upload. This is non-selected. And if you want to say selected image, this is the selected image. So if I say, if this is my selected image, when I select it, and this is the unselected image, it's an empty. All right, this is just an example. So when I click on it, it will be filled. When it's not selected, it will be empty. In addition to that, you can give it a title. For example, the title here, you can say upload, right? And then you hit enter. Now you have an upload, and you have a new icon for that tab bar item. All right. Now, if I run it, you will see that in your application, you will have the upload. It's selected. Watch, if I click on this, you'll see that it displays the unselected image. Is that clear? Yeah. So that's how you do it. The last thing I'm going to show you here regarding this is that badge value. What is a badge value? So if I put 1 here for this tab bar item, watch what's going to happen now. When I run it, it will have that one. Didn't show it. All right, did I not save it? Why? Where am I? Okay, see, it says here, it shows that badge item. All right, you could do that programmatically as well. You can add it, you can remove it, like in this book. Remember when we talk about it, shows you that you can add these badges programmatically, or you can remove it by setting it to nil. So I'll show you how we do that in the program. So you say tab bar item dot badge value does not equal to some value. So if I go back to my project, if I go to the view controller, here's my view controller. If I go to the view did load, do you remember what is the view did load? The view did load is when you first load your application, your view controller. So if I say tab bar item dot badge value equal, in the book they have exclamation mark, so I'll put the exclamation mark. Now, even if I go to the main storyboard and I'm going to delete this badge from here, no badge, all right? But when I first run this, what's gonna happen, when I first run this, what's gonna happen, it will show that badge for that tab bar item, or view that tab bar screen. Yeah, so see, it'll have that tab bar item here. If you wanna remove it, you just simply need to say nil. Now, we have not covered the view controller lifecycle, but in the book, they talk about when you hide the screen, when the screen disappears, when this view controller disappears, you can set it to nil. So when you go back to it, it's gone. All right, I'll do it quickly just to show you. So it's another view controller will disappear. All right, another method in the view controller. So if you go in here and you say view will disappear, do you see that? View will disappear. If you just select it, it's again, this method is in the parent class. And then if I take this guy from here, command copy, command V, and we make it nil. Now, when you click on it the first time, when you run it the first time, what happens? That badge will appear. Now, when I click on this screen will disappear. And when it disappears, it will call that method view will disappear. And it will hide, it'll make this to nil, so that badge will disappear. So notice that badge is gone. Okay? When you run it again, it will appear. But when you switch views, you call this method, the view will disappear, and we will make that equal to nil. All right? The last thing in this short lesson is how do we create custom classes to these tab bar classes. Now, we did that last time, you remember? So in here, in the storyboard, we have two view controller. We have the red. This view controller is already associated with this view controller class. How do I know? You select the view controller, you go to the identity inspector, you'll see the class that is associated with it. Now, if we want to create a class, custom class for this, what I do, I say file, new, file. Here we call it, it's a Coca Touch class. We click on next, and then we will say here, for example, green, view controller, next, create. We have a new view controller. We go to the storyboard. We select this view controller. And then we go to the custom class again, to identity inspector. If I click on the arrow, down arrow, I should see the green view controller here. And now I'm done, right? That's all I have to do. The only thing that you need to remember when you click, when you say new again, I'll just show you, highlight one point I didn't mention. When I say Coca Touch, make sure that the superclass is a UI view controller. And we did that in the previous video. You can do the playground, yourself. It's pretty straightforward, really. It's not that hard. It becomes tricky when you have a navigation controller and a tab controller together. The way you structure this, usually you have a tab bar controller, and within the tab bar controller, you have a navigation controller. Okay, it's not the other way around. So tab bar controller first, then if you have a view controller underneath it, that view controller can have a navigation controller, all right? You can add more, but again, I would not recommend that. Make sure maybe it's around 4 or 5 that it fits in one screen and not more screens, okay? We're done with this. You can use this for your assignment. So you have now, you know how to present it modally. You know how to present it with the navigation controller, and you know how to implement a tab bar controller. All right. We're done with this, and I'm going to show you how the next topic will be structures. Okay.